Hi there, Alana Corso, Managing Broker, Co-Founding Partner of Dwell Realtors, coming to you this week to talk about factors to consider when setting your list price. I get asked all the time how, when I'm meeting with sellers, is how we determine and set our list price. And there's a few factors that we consider in setting that list price, and wanted to kind of review them and discuss, and know that different agents have different philosophies. So I'm obviously sharing my philosophy and practices with you, and no house is ever the same, or no condo is ever the same. And so there's always a little bit of uniqueness with each and every property. So the first factor we're going to look at is to see what kind of a market we're in. Are we in a decreasing market, a flat market, or an increasing market? Lately here in San Mateo County and on the peninsula, it's been very much a seller's market and increasing, where we're seeing the list price to sales price often above 104%. So it means that houses are typically selling, fairly well above their list price. And anyone that's been watching the market lately can attest to that and see some properties are in fact selling for even beyond that, and several $100,000 above list price. So that's one of the things we're going to take into consideration, because you have pricing strategies within that factor, and something I will review and go over with you. So the next factor that we consider is the ever important comparable sales. And so we're going to look in your specific neighborhood, possibly the entire city, or different areas that are similar to it, and look at comparables. And most people will go back, 60, 90 days to look at comparables. It really depends on how many sales there are that are similar to your property, to how far back you have to go. If there's very few sales, sometimes you have to go pretty far back, even 2 years, just to even get a cadence and a feel for what similarly sized houses or condos are selling for. But the most important comparable work we can do is, what I do is reaching out to my fellow agents to find out what those pending properties are doing at, and knowing my local market intel to see what the cadence is for particular houses. Because while they may not actually have publicly closed, if I can find out how many offers they obtained or what the price it's pending at, it helps us build a better data point for knowing where to list our property at accordingly. So the third factor to consider is the location and condition of the home, and how it can be priced accordingly when we're setting that list price. Obviously houses that need a lot of work, or might be suitable only for contractors to do as a complete rehab or redo, would obviously be priced lower than a house that is updated or fixed up. And so we're going to look at all of those factors. And also you could have a similar house condition wise, but they might be in very different locations. So maybe one's on a busy street and one's on a really quiet street. So obviously the price factor of that would be determined when we're looking at the location as well. And one thing, there's no house that shouldn't sell, right? So whenever you see a house that's been sitting on the market for a long period of time, the reason why it's not selling is price. So it always comes down to pricing. And when a house, sits for over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days on the market, which is pretty rare here on the peninsula to see houses sit on the market that long, it means that the seller's expectation and the list price that they came up with the listing agent is not meeting what the fair market is expecting to pay for that house. Sometimes sellers have objections. They think their house is worth a certain price, and think that, that they can get that magical price. Although I can tell you that the longer a house sits on the market, the less of a chance you have, if you don't do work or you don't change anything up for that house, of you obtaining that list price. You can have a house on the busiest street in the world, and if it's priced properly, it will sell. So it's really important to get your pricing out the gate right. And people will say, well, how do you price it to get multiple offers? And, hey, anything over, 2-3 offers, when you're at multiple offers is great, and you have people in competition. When you start getting to the point of, say, more than 5 to 7 offers, say sometimes, people will be like, we received 30 offers on a property. you might get diminishing returns, and then you're just really looking to see what the outlier is that wrote the highest and strongest offer to get the property. Because when you got 30 offers, our job as real estate agents is to present every single one of those offers to the seller. And I can tell you from personal experience, once you get past like offer 5 or more, your eyes start rolling back in your head a little bit, and you just kind of start to lose track. And you're just like, okay, what's the price? What's this? What are the terms, right? And you have to remember that there is also all those buyers that lose out. You can only sell the house to one party. So that's kind of some of the factors that we consider in setting list price. If you're trying to navigate the process and need help, I'm happy to speak with you anytime. Feel free to reach out and discuss your thoughts. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much.